Hello and welcome to the Yarnings podcast. I'm Christine and I'll be your host. This is episode 82. I think I'm calling it Pairings. It is Wednesday, March 9th. It's March. It is a rainy 52 degrees weather today in Vancouver, Washington, where I am recording for you. We have had a lot of drizzle and some warmer days, but in the 50s for the most part so far the end of February, beginning of March. So it's been warmer. The flowers on the tree outside. I wonder if I can swing you around and you can see through the blinds. Don't get dizzy. So right outside this window, right there, is a big, beautiful pink tree. We think it's some kind of maple something, or cherry or something along those lines. It turns burgundy. Okay, there, you're back in the right place. I hope you didn't get dizzy. I just wanted you to see how close that pink tree is. And whatever blooms at this time of the year triggers my allergies. So I love the pink trees. I think they're super beautiful. They also are a sign of sneezing. So you can hear my voice is a little bit scratchy and just trying my best to breathe. Okay, so I'm glad to be back with you guys today. I have some fun and exciting things to show you. My table behind is very full, so we're going to go through some fun stuff. So let's move into life stories, and I'll tell you some fun stuff. Maybe this episode should be called Fun Stuff, since I've used that multiple times now. Okay, so I already mentioned the pink trees, allergies, migraines, trying to rest through all of that. I am prepping for Game Storm. We have 2 people coming to stay with us, and then several families coming to town that are going to be here for the event. Game Storm is an annual board game convention. There's also like live action roleplay gaming and other kinds of gaming besides strategy board games, but that tends to be where we stay. It is held here in Vancouver, which makes it nice and handy. It's downtown Vancouver, not too far from the library that I go to on Tuesdays. And it is something fun to look forward to every year. We've been going for 5 years. I've been going for 5 years, I think, and Eric went 1 year before me, maybe. And in 2013, we had guests. Some of the same friends come up for the convention, and so this year they decided that it was another great year for them to come up. We have a friend coming from Massachusetts and 3 from different areas of California, so it will be super exciting and I'm really looking forward to it. I'm doing a little cleaning because we are having a couple of them stay at our house. But our house isn't too bad right now. We've done some deeper cleaning after the remodel and for the allergy prevention and all of that, so it's not too bad. Besides that, I went on the Rose City Yarn Crawl, a kind of abbreviated Christine version of it. Because I don't drive, I took public transportation. And we have 3 shops that are downtown Portland in the Pearl District that once you can get to one, you can get on the streetcar and go up and down to the other ones. So I went to those on Thursday and had a lovely dinner with my husband afterwards. And then on Saturday, he drove me to several of the other stores. It's always a fun reason to go and be around other yarnies. Even though I went by myself, I feel able to compliment people on their knitting choices and the things that they're wearing and see all the fun things. And it's really just fun to be in that environment. And the shops that I went to on Saturday, 2 of my very favorite independent dyers, local dyers, were having trunk shows, and so I got to see them. And that is always fun. And so I will show you off some of my stash acquisitions as we move into other segments. But I did really enjoy getting to participate, even though it was just in a small way and I didn't make it to all the shops. Were 14 shops this year, and I think there's been as many as 20, 21. I don't know. It was a very high number. Maybe it was just 18, but it was a very high number. And one of the years, me and my friends went around to all of the shops and filled in our names for all of the prize baskets. And it was a lot to do in 4 days, but it was really fun to get to go to all the stores. And even though I don't have the energy to make it to all of the 14, even though it's a smaller number, I am really glad that I made it to 5. And I love the Portland yarn atmosphere. We really have friendly, happy shops, and that makes it even more fun. So I think those are the big, I'm going to detangle my socks here while I move into the next segment. Since I pull from the front and the back of a ball, I end up periodically having to do this because the outside of the ball wraps around the yarn from the inside of the ball. And so this is I usually do this underneath the table if I'm at dinner or whatever, but I will show you guys since I really needed to detangle that so that I could pull more yarn out. So there we go. So let's move into yarnings and adventures in knitting. I am wearing a finished object. So this is my Valentine's all year. Let's see how far back I can move if you can see. It turned into a dress. So it goes all the way down to as far as my fingertips. And I am thrilled with it. My favorite thing I've knit yet. So from here to down, it's knit top down. From here down, I use the pattern. The pattern that I based this on was Christmas in July by Tanis Lavalley, and I diverged pretty quickly with the way my colors picked, and then by the time I got down here, I added hearts because I love hearts. I love Valentine's colors. So I wanted it to be something I would be able to wear all year. Valentine's all year. And then as I did how the pattern called for the sleeves, but I did not continue on with long sleeves. I did cap sleeves, and I did just a teeny little hint of what might be a puffed sleeve if it was more dramatic. When you see it from the side, you can kind of see that it comes in just a touch, but it's a very subtle detail. I think you can see it a little better in person, but it's very subtle. All of my ribbing is twisted ribbing. And then as I got down to my underbust, I added a panel of twisted rib and color work mixed together. And then I added a bunch of increases right in here, and as it goes down towards here is the more concentrated portion of the increases. And there's some on the back as well. And then as I went down further, I decided I needed more Fair Isle. So I added another 4 inches-ish of Fair Isle on the bottom and finished it off with the same tan as in the top and the tubular bind off in the pink. I was hesitant to do the tubular bind off. I think I told you guys that last time because it was 445 stitches and the tubular bind off requires Kitchenering. But I'm so glad I did. It really gives a nice, sturdy, rolled edge, and it's nice and stretchy. You can see my pretty floats under there, and it really looks good. So I'm glad I did that. One thing that is a little strange is it's puckering just a touch here. I think that is the placement of the short rows to make the back taller. There is a little line right here of where those short rows went, but they come all the way under my arm. It's not bad enough that I would go back and fix it, but it's something I will be aware of next time. Maybe don't follow the pattern blindly and figure out what works better for me. Might be just how I'm shaped. Might be the size that I chose. I chose a size that was just slightly above mine, so there is a little more fabric here. It's not anything to worry about though. So I was going to tell you guys all the colors that I used. I have very, very small amounts of most of them left. Some of them I think I used the entirety. So the pink, the main body is Holiday Yarns, Flock Sock in the Persephone colorway. This tan up here is Trodden, Madeline Tosh Merino Light in the Trodden colorway, which I got on the Rose City Yarn Crawl in a prize basket. I think it was the year that me and my friends won one of the store's shop baskets. We've got Antique Lace, Tosh Merino Light, and Flash Dance intermixed in there. There is, what's the brown? Whiskey Barrel? That doesn't sound quite right. Flash Dance. Dust Bowl, there we go. So these small bits were all unicorn tails. Let's see. Then there is the orange, which is Miss Babs' Yummy, I think, in French Marigold, which was something that my friend Angel gave me when she was done with a shawl. Beautiful. I've been looking for the right thing to use with it. The red is Tarte Tosh Merino Light. The black is whatever the black unicorn tail was. That's not it. There's one more in there. I had 5 unicorn tails. So Onyx was the black. Let's see. The green is Jilly, and it was a club colorway that I won at ZK. So there's another event worth of yarn that was in there. The blue is a yarn that Twisted had sold. They commissioned Melanie of Black Trillium to dye some semi-solids for the store, and so I used both Astoria Blue, I think, and a cloudy gray. The gray is down in here. There's a little more of the orange, and then I used almost all of the rest of my Panic Oak in purple from last year's ZK. So these are Yarn Crawl. This is ZK. And I think that's all of it. Yep. Everything else that's in the bottom is just using up more of all of these. So the things that I have the most of are still the Trodden, the Jilly, and the Miss Babs. So I will use those for something else. I have put all of the amounts that I used on my project page. So I weighed all the little bits to figure it out. And this project used a lot of yardage. I think it was over 2,000 yards. I am just thrilled with it though. I think it is the perfect use of, oh, and then this was from the Holiday Yarns is from Rhinebeck. So I have ZK, Yarn Crawl for multiple years, and Rhinebeck Memories all smooshed together. I am in love with it. I'm going to really enjoy wearing this, and I think it flatters me really nicely. I think I went a little out of my comfort zone by adding Fair Isle at the bottom of it, but I think it turned out great. So yeah, I am very happy with this. So that's that finished object. work in progress is what I was working on at the beginning here. These are my Castle socks from another crafty girl. Her tough, the tag is in here. I left it in here so I would remember. Strong sock, there we go. Strong sock in the Countryside Castle colorway. Another crafty girl. It is based on the board game Castles of Burgundy. And so I have added very subtle and not super clear hexagons in there. More for my interest than anything else. Just for fun. They're supposed to be hexagons because all the game pieces are hexagons. These are almost ready for their heels. So then I will continue to knit on them. I love this yarn base. I definitely want to get more of this. This is a really nice, heavy, I can tell it's going to wear well. And I'm really looking forward to wearing them. So those are coming along nicely. I will leave those there because I might still knit on them while I talk. I have a cross between finished objects and works in progress here. So back in 2013, I knit a sweater out of, you were right here. Nope, there you are. It's not a very good tag. I don't know where the other half of it went. Fiber Company, Canopy. And out of this colorway, which was Paw Paw, which happens to be the town that I grew up in, and I had two and a half of the small skeins left. And I had this pattern. This is unblocked, so it will be cuter later. I had the pattern Autumns in Garrison in my queue because it was written for this yarn. So it is a top-down worsted weight lacy hat, and it zoomed off my needles. I loved knitting it so much that I decided I was going to knit a second one. But when I got this one done, it used more yarn than I thought it was going to. No biggie. I decided, I mean, it was very close. I had used 63 grams of what I had left, and I had 55 grams left. So I decided I'd knit one for my niece. I knit it on slightly tighter needles. I think it's still going to block out nice and big, so it can still be slightly slouchy. I made it about a half of a repeat shorter and just kind of blended the ribbing into the pattern a little bit more than the other one. And then I bound off with a complementary color. The complementary color is one of the things I got on the yarn crawl. This is the same base. This is Fiber Company Canopy in the Wild Ginger colorway. And it was on clearance because this is a discontinued yarn. My friend Rena lost a hat just recently, and it made me think of her. It's not quite the right golden color she lost, but it's a beautiful oatmeal with a hint of bronze. The screen is not doing it real complete justice. It's getting a little bit of a bluer hint than it is. It's really not. It's more of an oatmeal with a hint of bronze. So I used a little bit of it to bind this off. That way I could get as much of the green as possible, and it will be a fashionable accent for a 12-and-a-half-year-old. I will probably make a flower, a detachable flower that is in this yarn. So I cast on a third, and this will be for my friend Rena. And it is zooming. I wound up the yarn after breakfast yesterday, brought it with me on my weekly outing, and I got quite far. I'm finishing the second full leaf. So, Autumns in Garrison, it's a pattern by, oh man, hello cursor, there we go. by Kate Gagnon Osborne, and very nicely done. And obviously I enjoyed doing it. So I'm going to finish these up. I'm going to block them, and I am excited to wear mine, possibly with the sweater that it matches. That would be a nice thing next week for Game Storm. And you guys are going to just think I'm a little nutso because I have another almost finished sweater. But in my defense, it's bulky weight. And it just zoomed. So as soon as I was done with this one, I swatched for the next thing. I am knitting a Weasel by Isolde Teague. I am knitting a 2-color Weasel. I thought that might be a nice idea, and I love it. So, again, I'm using some leftovers. This is Madeline Tosh Chunky, which is a bulky weight, Aran to bulky weight yarn in the Spectrum colorway. This was my Rhinebeck sweater back in 2014. 2014? Yes. And so I had 2.5 skeins left. So last year on the Yarn Crawl, I had picked up Coquette in the same yarn base, the pink back here. And so I used the Coquette for the rows that were even in the background and let the Feather and Fan do its work in the foreground. And then as soon as I ran out of pink, I started just doing the Spectrum. It is, it comes down to my waistline, maybe a little further at the moment, and I am very close to being done. I used the pink until I got to just a teeny tiny little ball, which unwound itself. This yarn is a little snaky, and so it kind of wants to roll around and undo itself. So I had that much pink left, and I have this much blue left. So I will be binding off with a picot bind off. That stitch marker on there is very loud, sorry. So the sleeves have a picot bind off. I will do the same on the bottom. I think I have enough for that. And I got a button at the Button Emporium, which is a local place right near Knit Pearl in Portland. This big diamond-shaped pink button. And I got some pretty ribbon in there too. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it, but it's such cute with little owls. So that will go on the top with probably just a crochet loop to go around it because I didn't put a buttonhole in it. I had started it already when I went on the yarn crawl. I wasn't sure I would find a button or if I would just use a shawl pin. I think I will put that button on there because it's really cute. So that will be finished very quickly. For stash enhancements and needle adjacent projects, I showed you guys already. So here's where pairings come into effect. I went into yarn stores looking for things to put with other things. This is a pairing I showed you guys already. This is going to be the Therapy Shawl by Laura Ayler, and I need to wind them up. Another Crafty Girl, Sun Valley Farms, Fibers. So there's a pairing. I went into, let's do this in order. Well, I found this at Close Knit, and this is shepherd's wool, and it's the mill ends that they take and ply together. And it's listed as a DK, but there's no way this is a DK. So I picked up a DK to go with it, but there's no way that's a DK. So this is going to become something else. This is Black Trillium, her Sublime DK in the colorway Portland Rose. And I have been a giant fan of Melanie's forever, and so I love buying her stuff. So it's not going to go to waste. This, I think, is going to be paired with something fingering weight. I think it's going to become something brioche because I'd like to try brioche. I have a Craftsy class that I watched, but I haven't tried it yet. So there's that kind of failed pair. Not failed, just readjusting. I went with my hand spun, my wormhole hand spun, Knitting color, and which was red ultralight at night or something. I found another black trillium. This is her Luxe Sport, which is a merino mulberry silk and cashmere. And they're going to go together wonderfully. These are going to become the curtain call cowl, which I'm doing for the Broadway knit along on Actually Knitting podcast. So I have, this is 365 yards, and I think I have right around that of this hand spun. There's two skeins up there. I had just brought this small one with me, but it's got some of those same nubbly textures and some of those same blue greens in there. So there's a pairing. And then I got some Bumble Birch. You guys know I love me some Bumble Birch. There's her pretty leaf logo. And I love Sarah. This is Glen Plus, which is a fingering weight, a large skein of fingering weight in the Dahlia colorway, which is so nice. And I think that it's going to pair with what I got on the yarn crawl last year, which is Wonderland Yarns, the Cheshire Cat set. Star of the Evening is the colorway. And I think they are similar yardage. This is 640, this is 600, similar yardage. I will do something striping these two together. This is slightly lighter, I think, but I think it's going to be close enough. The plying looks similarly. I think it's going to be really nice and just make these two things shine really well. So, don't know what pattern it'll be, but that will be a pairing. The other thing that I got is my first sock blank. This is Alexandra's Crafts. She is another local, Silverton, Oregon, and it is very nice neons. See that neon green in the middle going out to pink. So these will be really fun to knit. It is a double knit sock blank, so 2 strands together, which will be perfect for knitting 2 socks at a time. And then I also have sitting here for my next sweater, my Marigold Jen. I need to wind up one of these skeins and swatch it. This is the Lady Violet colorway in her sock weight merino nylon. This is going to become a Maris. Yes, Maris by Elizabeth Doherty for the Eliz-along that the Knitwear girls are doing. Phew, that was a lot of stuff. I still have more to show you. I did not bring up my spinning. I've made a little progress, but not a lot. Stitch through time. Check this out. I finished my first pillowcases. So these are envelope flapped pillow encasements. You can see the pink thread on the outside that I used for fun effect. And it uses some of my hexies, some of my paper pieced hexies. And I sewed it on invisible with the pink thread to make it have that nice look. And they go either direction, one for each pong chair downstairs, and I'm really proud of how they turned out. They're not perfect. My seams aren't exactly straight, but it's a start. It's a learning place. It's something that I can increase my knowledge on and continue to work better. My little sewing machine is sitting over here, and I'm looking forward to what the next thing will be. So these two, now that I've shown them off, I will put them downstairs on the chairs, and they will look very pretty for our living room. Also for Stitch Through Time, I don't think I brought this in to show you last time, but my cross stitch is coming along. See, the cute little bees have wings now. I need to fill in the little honey pot, and then there's going to be flowers around the outside. So I still have more to do, but I finished all of these colors except the sparkly that's around the wing is going to be a little water around the bottom of the skep, but I broke my needle threader, so I had to order another one with my other Amazon order that was coming. Let's see, I still have some white here. Oh yeah, white for filling in the pot, and the blue. But the embroidery thread is really too thick to thread without a needle threader. So I have some different style of needle threader coming. Hopefully won't just be the old brittle one that was in my sewing box for years, and that will be better. I'm trying to figure out what my next stitching project will be. I don't know yet. I mean, I have stuff. I have some fabric that I'd like to turn into a paper piecing project, but I haven't engineered it yet. And I have my quilt. And I have my pattern over here that I need to get fabric for. So I have some stuff. I just need to engineer what those next things will be. For Multicraft, I had to find a frame for a print that I purchased, but it was too big of a frame, and so I had to make a outside border mat to put around it. So I did that today, and now that can hang on the wall as soon as the last set of command strips gets here. We have so many up, but we still needed a few more. So this is Board Game Geek related. These are different types of board games, and I'll link to the Etsy site where I purchased it. Although he might have moved off of Etsy. I'll have to go look because he was changing where he was at. But I thought this was just perfect for our living room. So this is going to go on the wall by the clock. Okay. Knitting community. We have a knit along going on. This is Tell Me a Yarning. I want you to tell a story about something you are knitting or have knit so far this year. There are all the rules and the details in the thread on the Yarnings forum, and it's open through the end of March. We have 2 entries already. So go get entered. There'll be some prizes. I'm excited to give them out. And speaking of that, there was a prize drawn for the Perfectly Posh thread, and Annetta T was the winner of that prize. So I will contact her and figure out what she wants from either my Posh stash or from the store itself. Okie dokie, let's move into some non-knitting segments with Sagas of Geekery. Now playing. I played Flip City, which is a card game we got for Christmas. And I played Keyflower, and we played it with both expansions this time. We had purchased it as a Kickstarter or as a crowdfunding so that they could get it reprinted. And it had both the Farmers and the Merchants expansions when the way that we ordered it. And so we hadn't played it with the combination of both of those things at the same time until last week. So that was fun. And I'm just prepping for Game Storm. Last year I had a whole list of games that I was excited to try and find and play. This year I'm just excited to play with my friends. And I will be going in and out a little bit because we do have a friend that is not here to game, and so I am super excited about spending time with Amelia and probably her cute little kiddos because I enjoy them as well. So I will be balancing my time between hosting, being a friend, and getting to play games. So that will be fun. For now watching, Eric and I are watching Person of Interest. It's my second time through, and we are nearly done with season 1. I am watching Numbers. I think I'm on season 4. A rewatch. And Agent Carter. I think we still have 3 hours worth of episodes. I think there's a 2-hour special and then the finale for season 2 that are on the TiVo. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. came back last night, but I haven't watched it yet. For now reading. I'm zooming through these because there's a lot. For now reading, we finished Armada by Ernest Cline. We had really enjoyed Ready Player One, and so I was really excited when this came out. Will Wheaton narrated it. It was a pretty good book. It wasn't the same for me as Ready Player One. I enjoyed that more, but that's personal preference. It was quite good, and I enjoyed the world that he built, and how he intermixed 80s pop culture and all of the other interesting alien video game stuff. So I would recommend it. I would say give it a listen if you enjoy sci-fi, if you enjoy 80s pop culture. It was good, and listening to Will Wheaton narrate is really good. I did start on The Life-Changing Magic of Tidying Up by Marie Kondo. I'm very, very new into it. I have not gotten very far. I'm not sure if it's going to change my life, but I'm interested to see what people are talking about. There have been a lot of people that I enjoy hearing their ideas that have found really good stuff in this book, and so I'm interested to see what I can enjoy. Siri thinks that I'm talking to her, and I'm really not. I am trying to figure out what the next books I want to listen to. Maybe the Gail Carriger Parasol Protectorate series. I'm not sure yet. And book related, I've been listening to the Happier podcast with Gretchen Rubin and Elizabeth Craft. They're sisters. Gretchen Rubin wrote Better Than Before, which you guys have heard me talk about because it really has shaped my opinions at the beginning of the year about habits and adding new and good things to my life. So listening to the podcast has been just a natural expansion of that. Someone on the boards had mentioned this, it was on my radar, and now I have gone back, started at the beginning, and I've still got many more. I think I just finished like the 20th episode, and now they're at 50, so I have many more to catch up on, and I'm really excited about that. So let's see, Fanciful Chatter. Another good pairing that I have been enjoying in the last week, 2 weeks, is my new foundation. I have used it enough that I feel comfortable showing you now. This is Makeup Forever, which I got at Sephora. And I had someone there try it on for me. Try and find the right match for me, and this is a really good match. This combination in particular is really helpful for my skin. Because I'm getting a little older, I have a few more bumps and things that primer smoothing out really helps. This is a smoothing primer, and it just really gives me a even canvas. And then I put on the foundation, which is a very light color. I don't remember what those numbers meant. It doesn't tell me what color it is. It says in my Sephora app. I've been putting it on with a brush. It goes on really smoothly on top of the primer, and really excited about the coverage. I'm able to add a little blush where the blush should actually be because my skin tone is evened out. I don't have quite so much extra redness, which is hereditary. And I just really like how it makes me feel. It doesn't feel heavy. It doesn't feel greasy. So that's that. That's a good pairing. Okay, book of cooking. I helped back a bakery back a while ago. This is the Sugarbot Sweet Shop. Jackie, she was the one who started Camp Kip, which was a knitting retreat for 2 years, and a lot of my friends went to that, and I helped sponsor a little bit the second one. So I have followed along in Jackie's adventures in the meantime. And so when she was talking about getting her bakery set up in St. Louis, I was excited to back the project, and the reward that I picked had some treats sent to me. So we have already eaten all of the other wonderful things, but I still have just a teeny bit left of this amazing, delicious granola. So I will link to her shop, and if you are in St. Louis or you're interested in getting some treats mailed to you, you should definitely check her out. We went out to eat a few times this last week because we were out for the yarn crawl. We went to Nicholas for Lebanese food, and Mamma Mia, which was very nice, for Italian food. It was Portland Dining Month, so it was a super fancy, extra special menu they had going on. I also made Valentine's cookies, belatedly, and soy riso polenta, which is a recipe that I created a couple of years back with a vegetarian chorizo and served over top of polenta with veggies and then a maple mascarpone on top. Really good stuff. I will link to the recipe on the Red Kitchen, which is my recipe site. For the Happiness Continues, I mentioned the Better Than Before book by Gretchen Rubin, and one of her topics is how you pair habits together. So you find something that's already working for you and you add on to that. So while I eat breakfast, I read my Bible. When I brush my teeth at night, I wash my face. Those kind of pairings. I am not completely successful at it all the time, but it's sure easier when I pair it than if I'm just trying create a habit sometime during the day, exercise. Well, it's a little harder to mesh that into life. So, pairings. I also am thinking a lot about turning 40 this year. I have put a lot of thought into what kinds of things I want to do to celebrate that. I am proud of all of the mental gains that I have had to get to this point. And one of my favorite books that talks about personality traits developing as you age, well, there are many things they talk about, but that's one of the things that is applicable to what I'm talking about now. This is Do What You Are, and it is Myers-Briggs personality type. So I am ISTJ, introvert, sensing, thinking, judging. And as you age, they have found you develop some of the other traits, or you add a little more of the different things. And so that, thinking about that is adding to my enjoyment of aging. It's not always a bad thing. And how I want to celebrate with my friends far and near throughout the year. So I'm going to start a new hashtag on my Instagram of K Celebrates 40. And you're welcome to cheer me along. Okay, that was a lot of talking. Sometimes I wish I had a co-host so it was easier to take a drink. But I think we shall end for today. It's already 44 minutes. Thank you for joining me today. I'm really glad you were able to spend some time with me. I hope you are having a wonderful, awesome day, full of very wonderful pairings in your life. Maybe some Fair Isle and dresses. There you go. So you can contact me, you can get in touch with me on the internet. I am Christine with a K on Ravelry. I am KDLB, just the letters, on Instagram. The Yarnings podcast group on Ravelry has a lot of great discussion. You can introduce yourself. And the show notes with links to everything that I talk about are on yarningspodcast.com, all squooshed together. Okay, so that'll do us for today. I will see you again very soon. Until next time, that's the story. Bye.